Welcome back to today's second segment of the show. We have a couple more guests with us today. Coach Sean Page, East Nimble swim team, is going to talk about the swim program here. The East Nimble swimmers, they compete here at the Cole YMCA, and we have one of the girl swimmers with us. Mackenzie Corbin is going to talk about the girls swim team. So it's a pleasure to have you guys back. We wanted to have you on last week, but you're back today. And Sean, let's just start with you. First of all, how long have you been the coach of the program?
This is my first year back with them. 4 years ago, I also coached the team for 3 years.
Okay.
So,
like as an assistant?
Assistant the first year, and then head coach for the boys, and then head coach for both teams.
Okay.
Last year.
Okay. Well, I know, you're well respected. I know my foreign exchange student swims for you, and he loves you. So whatever you're doing, keep doing it. I'll tell you what, I knew nothing about swimming until this year. I tell you, for people out there that have never been to the Y to watch one of these things, I mean, it is fast. It's nonstop. I mean, boom, as soon as the race is over with another one, I mean, it's fast.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of activity, and there's a lot of events. So
it's pretty loud there.
Yeah, a little warm too.
Yes.
A little humid, but and then we have Mackenzie Corbin here with the girls team. Let's just start. Sean, why don't you go through some of your matches so far, your meets, what your record is. Talk about why don't we start with talking about the girls program?
Okay. The girls, I don't know what the girls' record is actually. To be honest with you.
Yeah, they've only lost a couple.
Only lost a few. To be honest with you, the girls are doing really well. They're a real strong team. We've got a lot of returning sophomores that are sophomore class is kind of leading the way as a sophomore right here, and this just a real strong team. They've been swimming for many years. A lot of them are bluefins. Bluefin swim team, which is the age group team here in town. So just done well. I mean, put them in all different kind of spots, and they've performed each time. So honestly, that's about it. I mean, they're really doing a great job. They're coming together, working on the relays, getting everything figured out. So it's coming together well.
Mackenzie, what are the events that you race in?
I swim the 200 freestyle, the 100 back, the 200 free relay, and the 400 relay.
Okay. And which one of those is your favorite?
I like the 200 free.
200 free? Now, obviously, Sean, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. In swimming, it's not so much all the schools that you compete against. And as I obviously know, in our conference, a lot of these high schools are almost like club swim teams.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not just swimming during the high school season. I mean, they belong to country clubs and.
Yeah, there's some teams in our conference that
highly competitive.
Well, we're looking at trying to qualify for state, and they're literally they're looking at qualifying for Olympics. So
right.
Seriously.
Yeah. It's kind of like night and day.
It's a little bit, yeah.
But I mean, obviously, when you swim, and in fact, a couple of weeks ago, you asked me to time, which I've never done before. That was interesting, especially when you don't know how many laps and you're not sure if it's done or not. But getting back to what you do, it's more important. You're basically swimming against the clock.
Yeah. It's
not so much of who you're swimming. If Carol Homestead, I mean, you're trying to beat your best time.
Yeah.
So I mean, is that the focus of the team to get better, just to get faster every week?
That's pretty much the focus. I don't know if it's really every week. It's more overall. Our goal is to get faster by sectional times. We want our fastest times to be at sectionals. Right. So that we can place well in sectionals.
And obviously, the more you swim, the stronger you are. Yeah. I guess people too don't realize. I mean, I know football during the football season. A lot of senior boys, they complain about, we have 2 weeks of two-a-days. You guys have two-a-days for 2.5 months.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a commitment. Swim is a rough sport. I had no idea. I mean, getting in there every morning at 5:30, it's like, I don't think I'd get up to eat a donut at 5:30.
Yeah, they do morning 5:30, and then 3:30 after school, and weights after that, and then dive practices after that.
So we're talking 4 or 5 hours of practice a day.
Yeah, every day.
I mean, that's quite a commitment. So who are some of the seniors on your girls team?
Well, we've got Olivia and Christy and Hoda, who's another foreign exchange student.
Okay.
And then we've got a Sydney's a diver.
And don't forget Emily.
And of course Emily.
Yeah.
Can't forget Emily. She's kind of our team mom. Yeah. Does everything.
So how many years have you swam on the team?
On high school team or like competitively?
Well, both.
Well, the high school team, I'm a sophomore, so both years. And
Okay.
then
You went out last year then as well?
Yeah, competitively, I've been swimming since I was about 7, so probably 8 years.
Okay. So obviously this is very, I mean, you really like this.
Yeah, it's really good exercise for me too.
So, I mean, you swim in the summer and you okay, like AEU or what?
I swim bluefins,
Okay.
which is like a USA thing, and
Okay.
then I swim in my pond every day. So.
Okay. So you probably love going to Florida then.
Yeah, when we get the chance.
Swim against the waves, there you go.
Yeah.
Sean, going back to the boys, now I don't think they're as experienced as the girls team, right? They're younger?
Yeah, they're a little bit younger. They just there's a few bluefinners on there, but honestly, most of them are. It's just a smaller team. They're just not quite as we don't have quite the numbers we had before.
Right.
It's like you said, it's a big commitment, and a lot of the returning guys really weren't into committing quite that much, which is fine. But you know, they're definitely getting faster and faster. I mean, it's just they're growing. We have to kind of. About 2 years ago, there's a group of guys that went through that were pretty phenomenal, and you know, it kind of. We have a bit of a lull now where we got to fix, get these guys built back up a little bit. So they're working hard though. They're working so very hard. I mean, I expect probably at least 7 guys to go below a minute this year. Right now I don't have any guys below a minute, but I expect at least 7 to go below a minute, which is where they honestly need to be if they want to be competitive. So yeah, I'm real excited. So.
Now the boys' first one was against Northrop?
Yeah, our
Is that
first
correct?
win, was against Northrop, yeah. So and that was a tough win for him. We had a guy literally pass out on deck because he was so sick, and we had to do some scrambling. Had to ask a guy to do a lot who just came off from being sick, and they really gutted it out, and they won. So I mean, it was a really good battle for them. So they actually had it won before the last event, but I didn't tell them. To make sure they had a good time the last one. So, but they did an awesome job. So they really got it out. So.
Well, I grew up in obviously a sports family. My dad coached, and I know football coaching, basketball, swim coaching. Okay, now how exactly? I mean, like to choose a relay team. I mean, how do you do this?
Basically, just kind of. I did a couple different ways. I like at the beginning of the season to try to give as many people as opportunities as possible. And I just kind of look for the people who want to win. You're looking for that person who will not let that other person pass them. Or I will catch that person. You're looking for that drive. You're not, I mean, the fastest time is nice sometimes, but you're really kind of looking for that someone with that little bit of, something inside of them that I'm not going to lose this person because they have to have that ability to fight through whatever they're fighting through. And right now, I mean, definitely have a lot of good people in that position. So that's actually one of the hardest parts is, to be honest with you, I've got a lot more than I expected. It's a good thing to have.
Now, when it comes to like conference or tournament, I know like in tennis, if they play like doubles, come tournament they have to play doubles. I mean, can you like switch events? I mean, if somebody's a backstroker, can they all of a sudden, come tournament do another event? Is that allowed, or how many events are they allowed to compete in?
Yeah, you're allowed to compete in 4 events total. It can be 3 relays and 1 individual, or 2 individuals and 2 relays. That's all you're allowed to compete in. Okay. So it doesn't really, there's 3 relays available.
So basically you just play somewhere you think they...
Yeah, basically I go through, what I'm in the process right now is I go through last year's kind of results and look through the conference standings and where everybody stood and figure out where everybody has the best opportunity to place and where they'll do the best. Try to put everybody in a position where they have an opportunity to place. I mean, I don't want to, I want to try the team to do as well as they possibly can. So. But yeah, in swimming it's kind of weird because we talked about a little bit before that the dual meets really are not, they don't really stand for anything in the sense of standings. It's
right.
In swimming it comes down to the conference championship meet, which is the 5th, Saturday, which is coming up very quickly.
January 5th.
January 5th, yes.
Okay.
And whatever we place there is our conference standings, and then sectionals is the other meet really that matters. So all the others are just bragging rights or practice.
And so sectional then is like mid-February, I think?
The girls, I believe.
Boys is February 14th.
Yeah, boys are February 14th, so I think girls are 2 weeks prior to that, so it'd be,
No.
no, it'd be earlier than that.
It'd
so
be like the first
second type thing.
See, that's a long season too for you guys.
Yeah.
People don't realize that's, you know, you guys have been, when do you start?
Well, we usually get it, we do some conditioning, preseason conditioning about 4 weeks before the season starts. So the season's really only about 20 or 21 weeks long, but it's, I mean, when you're doing 11 practices a week, it adds up quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Plus weight, so actually, 14 practices a week, so
Wow.
a week.
Give or take a couple meets.
Yeah, the meets are practice also.
Unbelievable. Now, talk about your mom a little bit. She couldn't be here today. She does like some of the scoring,
Yeah,
the timing, or
she kind of just puts everything into the computer and runs the scoreboard and makes sure everything goes smoothly, which is hard and complicated for swim meets because you never know what's going to happen.
yeah. See, that's another part of this whole thing that really amazes me. It's the technology. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like, scoreboard in a basketball game. I mean, this is, it's got to be precise. And, you're talking, 300ths of a second. That
Make a
could,
difference.
yeah, that can make a huge difference.
Well, you're depending on a lot of technology with the touchpads. Everything's done on touchpads now. You touchpad and goes the scoring unit, then goes the computer, and I mean it goes all over the place.
That's if our touchpads are working right.
Well, if everything works properly, yeah. So
Right.
I mean, you're trying to get splits, and you're trying to. I mean, it's all basically swimming's a lot very similar to track in some sense, except typically track only uses like the eye for like the bigger
Right.
events. We use it every event.
Right.
So there's a lot of technology behind every single dual meet and stuff like that. So just the way it is.
Now, who are some of the other coaches that coach with you? Assistant coaches? Or?
I have 3 assistant coaches. I've got Coach Palmer, Tracy Palmer. She's my assistant coach, and then I've got Coach Page, my wife, who's as another assistant coach. She handles more of the administrative end of things, and then I've got Coach Bonnie Reed, who does the diving portion. So she coaches all the divers and whatnot. So which is a lot in itself because they have practices much later at night, separate. So it's a lot in itself right there. So.
Yeah, I urge anybody who's never been to a Eastable swim meet, you need to go at least once. Check it out. It's amazing. It's fast. There's a lot of events. There's a lot of different styles of swimming, and I like I said, I've never been involved with the swim program at all until this year. I've really enjoyed it. It's competitive.
Yeah, it's definitely very competitive.
It's fun.
Yeah, the teams that we face are in this area, and people don't realize. I mean, Indiana in general usually is in the top 5 in the country every year with swimming. So I mean, it's usually very competitive. Like last year, Swimming World takes all the state meets and puts them all together. And last year, I believe Carmel had I believe they were number 2 in the country. Carmel, which is the
Wow.
state championship in this area. So and Homestead's always very high too. So it's nationwide.
Yeah, Carmel. I know from high school when my high school played them in football. Carmel's a dirty word, but
Carmel's
it's a big school. It's got its own life of its own. They're good in everything.
Yeah.
I mean, and a lot of people are just jealous of them because they win them. It's a huge school.
Yeah.
Very wealthy, very smart kids, and that's the other thing too about your kids. The quality of kids that you have. You've got some smart kids.
Yeah, that's kind of, I don't know why, but for some reason, it's just swimming. No, swimming always has been one of those sports that honestly.
Like tennis.
I mean, maybe like tennis. You typically don't have to worry about the grade situation that much. I mean, they're all pretty driven kids.
Right.
I mean, you've got people who want to be doctors and stuff like that, and the academics is not usually something you have to stress about too much for these guys. They're really good kids. I mean, that's their focus. So, which is a good and a bad because they're also in very difficult classes, so I have to really be understanding of that.
They're just picking up on the character of their coach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, let's go with that.
Okay, that's not
Anyway, I'm glad you guys could be here today. You're doing well. Keep getting faster every week. Like you said, it doesn't matter who you're swimming against. You're basically swimming against the clock, the timer. So.